Alright, welcome back. So I made this part the other day. Didn't come out too bad. This side's fine. This side got a couple of little bubbles in it. There's little bubbles in the gel coat and then they pop and leave a big voidy hole underneath it. Yeah. So I've got to pick all that off, sand it all out, get rid of that. Look at it. So I was struggling to understand what's going on, but I've been using this stuff, this angle, 90-degree angle stuff, and I've trimmed down one side and that's fine. So what I've done is I've just trimmed the other side off. What's happening is when I'm putting it back on there, so I'm putting my gel coat on, push it back onto there like that to glass over it, push that into the gel coat, it's trapping bubbles behind it and you can't get them out. So that idea doesn't work. So what I've done is I've trimmed it down so I can use that as a radius, glass up to it there, glass up to it there, then glass over it. That basically just saves me having to make the radius on the mould, which in hindsight probably should have just done. I should have put a radius through there, you know. Job's a good one, and then I could have just made all the parts just using the glass without having to mess about, but I didn't. I thought this way would save me having to do that, and it sort of does when you get it right. Right, anyway, so that's going to go in there. I want to cut some glass to go there and there, so I want 2 bits for that and then 2 layers to go over the top of the lot. Okay, that's my glass cut, so I've cut this down so it only gives me the radius and doesn't come up the side at all. Then we've got that. I've slightly fluffed the edges so that it'll come up to the edge of that and just sort of work over it with the wispy bits. And we've got one for the top side there, so I only need to come up to that line, so I'll overdo it slightly and I can trim it down then. So I'll go in there like that. Then I've cut 2 large sheets there, which will then go in over the top of all of that. So glass is all ready. Basically just waiting for when I've got the time to mix up the resin and that and get on with it. It ain't happening today, but it's all ready to go now, so when I've got a day where I've got a bit of spare time, I can just come and get on with it now. Alright, so with the glass all cut, I'm ready to make my 3rd one of these. So basically they'll all link together. You know, we'll tie them in together, a little bit of Bondi paste, and then glass them in. All this, it don't really matter. Basically, I was just trying to get some gel coat on it so it had a bit of colour and it's sealed, but it really don't matter. I can sand that back to the glass, get rid of all the lumps and bumps. This was the first one I've done that went wrong, and I weren't sure why it went wrong. So this is my next one, and it came out better, but it still went wrong. And then I realised what it's doing is it's trapping air behind that 90-degree. So again, we're going to have to sand all that down, remove any bits like that that are basically blown, where it's got air there. You'll see there's a bubble there, so that will go. There's a bubble there, there's a little bubble there. It ain't too bad. That was the worst of it there and there, but you know, it is what it is. All that's got to come out because that basically hasn't bonded at all. It's just left a big void. But not a problem. We'll get the sander out. We'll take that down. See, this edge is rough where I've gel coated it up to there, and I've gel coated that face, and I've only put a little bit on that radius. But that's not a problem. This will be sanded off, so I'll lose that step there. That's not necessarily a void. That's just where I've gelled up to the edge of the mould there into the corner. So we'll sand that off. That'll all disappear, not a problem. This one's going to be a lot of sanding. I was thinking I might just make a couple more, but do I waste these bits or do I just sand them and deal with it? I think I'll have to do a lot of sanding. But yeah, this one's come out a lot better, and hopefully the next one will come out better than that. I've removed that bit now, so we've only used the radius. So hopefully, like this one, it will come out much better. But watch this space.